Hello learners, welcome back to LMTI. So let's continue our Maven learning series number 3. So in this session, we are going to discuss about how to create the Maven project. So if you are watching this video for the first time, so please have look on my previous session for the better understanding. Okay, so now let's step on to the today's session, so which we call it as an Maven project creation. In order to create the Maven project, so we need an IDE. In the market, like you all may aware, like we are having n number of IDE. So in which the most famous IDE are kind of an IntelliJ and then Eclipse. So we are going to use any one of the IDE. So either the IntelliJ or the Eclipse. So whatever the IDE which is available in the market, so which comes with the inbuilt support of Maven. Okay, so that is the reason the Maven will work on all of the IDE, because like whatever the IDE which is available in the market, so which comes up with the inbuilt support of the Maven. So in our case, I'm going to use this IntelliJ. So in the IntelliJ, I'm going to create a Maven project, and post creation of the Maven project, so I will interrelate the theory. So whatever the theories we have learned so far, so let me just try to re-explain and will try to reintegrate with the actual part. So now in order to create the project, I am just opening the IDE in my machine. Okay, so I'm just opening the IntelliJ IDE. So once I open, at the left corner you could be able to see like 4 horizontal line, so which we call it as a main menu. So just click on the main menu and then select the new option, under which you could be able to see the option called as a project. So just select the project. So once you select the project, so the new project window will open. So here we need to give the project name. So let the project name be the LMTI. Okay, so just I'm giving the project name as LMTI, and you need to specify the location where your project need to get saved. So we need to provide the local path. Okay, so I am just providing my system local path. You can create your own folder in any of the local disk and you can provide the local path. So whenever we create the project will be get saved in that particular local path. And there is another option to create a Git repository. So I will explain like what is mean by Git repository in my next series. Okay, so as of now, just don't check this checkbox. And we are going to use the programming language as Java, and make sure like you are selecting the build system as Maven. Okay, so always we should select the build system as a Maven, and in the JDK part, so you need to select the Java version. So basically before creating the Maven project, make sure the Java is installed in your system. Always try to use the recent version of the Java. So I have selected the version number 21. So like if I click on the drop down, whatever the Java version which is available in the machine will be populating. So I am using the Java version 21, and you don't need to add this checkbox. So just fill the name, location, language and the build system as a Maven, and then select the JDK. And you could be able to see one more option here, which we call it as an Maven archetype. So as I told, so whatever the IDE which is available, so all IDE come up with the inbuilt support of Maven. So the archetype means like it is kind of an template. So either we can choose any one of the existing template and we can create the project, but as of now in the real time world, so we won't use the template. So we will create our own project where we will be amending our own code. Okay, so that is the reason I'm not choosing this Maven archetype. So make sure like you are selecting the new project and providing the name, location and language as a Java and build system as a Maven, and select the Java project. So sorry, and select the Java version and post that, click on create button. Once you click on create button, so the window will be populating. Okay, so if you have already opened any of the project, so then this open project window will be populating, else straight away it will open the new project. So as I have already have one more project at the back end, so I'm opening this current project, which is nothing but the project which I have created LMTA right now in this window. If I click on this window, so now what happened, my new project called as an LMTA will be created. You could see the project name is mentioned as LMTI, and then like where it is stored in the sense, so it is stored in this particular local path. And if I expand this project, I could be able to see a folder called as an SRC, so which we call it as an source folder. Okay, so the first folder, so which is available inside the Maven project, so we call it as an source folder. So, and if I expand the source folder, I could able to see two different folder called as an main and test. So generally, right, so the Maven always follows the convention over configuration. Okay, so there is something called as an convention over configuration. So what is mean by convention over configuration in the sense, like which is nothing but it is a proper folder structure. So which means it indicates we are going to, it will create the proper folder structure. So the proper folder structure we technically called as an convention over the configuration. So which means the Maven follows it up. So that's the reason like inside the source folder, so we are having different folder called as an main and test. So we are having so source main folder, as well as like we are having the folder called as an source test. If I expand the main, under which I could able to see two more folder called as an Java and resources. So we are having source main Java folder, and other thing like we are having source main resources folder. Okay, and similar to that inside the test, so we should have source test Java, and then like source test resources. Okay, so just please verify so whether all these four folders are present, because like Maven always follow the proper folder structure in the real time. So we are going to utilize each and every folder for some specific purpose. So generally like we are setting up the standard, so wherever you go, so if they follows the Maven project, so we will having the same folder structure, and it is kind of an universal thumb rule, so where one standard structure is followed. Okay, so that is the reason I told, so the Maven always follows the proper folder structure. And the advantage of using Maven in the sense, like we can say it is an one of an advantage, like as it is following the proper folder structure, so wherever we go, so we will exactly know so where the respective coding is placed. So for example, so when we take this source test Java, so inside which the automation code will be saved. So we can say the test code will be available. And inside the source test resources, like whatever the supportive files which are required for the testing coding, so which is nothing but we can call it as a property file or the configuration file or the whatever the other supportive file which we required, or in the single term I can say, so whatever the supportive file so which is required for the test will be available inside the source test Java. And similar to that, like we are having another folder called as source main Java, so where our source code will be present, so which is nothing but we can call it as an reusable code. And whatever the supportive file which is required for the source code will be available in the source main resources. Okay, so it will follow proper folder structure, and we are going to utilize each and every folder for some specific purpose. So later part when we do the coding, like you will get to know so like what is mean by test code, source code, and what are the supportive files in the upcoming series. Okay, so now it's follow the proper folder structure. I'm going to verify whether all the folders are present. So we could see under the main Java and resources is present. And if I expand the test, I could able to see only the Java folder and resource folder is not available. If resource folder is not available, so just click on the test, right click on it, and then this window will be opening. Select the new, under which you could able to see an option called as a directory. So in few system, instead of directory, it may appear as a package. If you're using the Mac, it will be appearing as a package. So double click on either the directory or the package, and once you double click it, so here you could see it is displaying so Maven source directories, and you could see the directory called as in resources. If you double click on the resources, automatically so it will get added up. Okay, so now we have created a right proper Maven project, and apart from source folder, like here we could able to see some other file called as an pom.xml. So generally the M indicates it's a notation of the Maven. So make sure like the pom.xml file is present or not. So we will discuss what is meant by pom in the next session. And apart from that, in the right hand side, you could able to see an logo called as an M. If you click on it, so make sure the project name is populating, and if you expand it, like you could able to see like lifecycle and plugins. So like we will be discussing what is meant by lifecycle and what is meant by plugins in the upcoming session. So the agenda of the session is like to create the successful Maven project. And if you face any error, so as of now, like in my system, I didn't face any error. So it is just like kind of an we didn't did any of a coding. But if any error occurs, so if you could be able to see some red lines or something, if it is throwing any error, then what you can do, you can just click on this main menu, and under which there is an option called as an invalidate catches. Okay, so just click on the invalidate catches and then select the button called as an invalidate and restart. So whenever you do the invalidate and restart, so it will automatically like reopen the IntelliJ. So when it's reopening the IntelliJ, so the re-indexing will happen. So during the re-indexing, so the majority of the issues will be resolved. So we won't face like any errors in the Maven project because it will re-index the Java. So once it is open, like at the bottom, like you could able to see like it is scanning files to index. So once it done with the scanning, it will start the indexing. So during indexing, it will fix the majority of the issues, so we won't have any error in the project. Okay, so if you get any some warning like this, so just close the warning, so you don't need to do any action over it. Okay, so make sure like the Maven project is created successfully. So thanks for watching this session. So keep learning. We'll see you all in next session.